You're running a business. You're trying to start a new company, but you have to learn how to become a CEO. You have to learn how to be a business person, not just a trader. You have to be a good money manager. There's so many things that people walk into this industry thinking, this is going to be easy. All I got to do is press some buttons. Press some buttons and money just drops into my account. And man, I can go out there and live the fast life. This is so easy. I don't know why I waited so long to do this. When it's entirely way beyond what is expected in terms of what you're going to have to work your rear end for. And immediately, in the beginning, you're not getting that gratification. You're getting no support from anybody. No one's going to tell you, good job, you just did 2.5 hours of back testing. You put some annotations on some charts and journal your observations. Well done. Man, I tell you what, you keep doing this for a couple months, man, there's no telling how good you're going to get. So when we listen to folks in other industries, high yield paying industries, many times folks are willing to go through this level of internship. And for some of you that may not understand what that is, it's basically working your rear end off for nothing because you're just looking for an opportunity to get in the door. And before you can even begin thinking about being a professional trader, you have to treat your early years as development as something much like an internship. You're not going to get paid. No one's going to thank you. No one's going to really appreciate what you're doing. The person that you learned from, they get all the accolades and such because you're just a grunt trying to learn what they produce. And I'm using myself as an example. But I try to encourage that students that are willing to go through that process, they need to be reminded that it's going to be hard. It's going to be thankless in the beginning. You're not going to get a lot of support from your friends and your family and your spouse. And if you make the mistake of sharing this journey or this pursuit with your coworkers, you're going to be the brunt of most punchlines and ridicule because you're chasing a pipe dream that may not actually come to fruition. So when you're first starting out, you have to really warm up to the idea that this is going to take a whole lot more time than you probably think it will. And going through that stage of learning about yourself, how do you do that? Back testing, looking at old moves, thinking about what it is that you resonate with. What type of setup that you find in old price action gets your gears going. And spending time with that, collecting data, collecting information that supports the idea of that particular model being viable for you. And does it really match your personality? And all the while, you haven't even pressed the button to enter a trade yet, not even on a demo. So your internship as a professional trader is an unprofitable venture in the beginning, not in the sense of going out and spending money. That's not where it's at. But the profitability that you find in the understanding and the learning and the grooming that you put yourself through, it's without measure. There's no way of putting a price tag on that type of experience because most people are not willing to go through that. My uncle was a stockbroker, allowed to talk to anybody about buying or selling any shares of anything. He had to do so much cold calling. He used to sit next to low-end brokers that cannot even talk to the potential buyer of the shares and just listen to their pitches. And I used to go to school at the time, computer science, and he was at that job. And eventually, after getting through that internship, he got to the part where he can now start making money. You know what he started with? He started with pitching a company called Action Staffing, garbage stock. He even told me, this is a company that's never going to make any money. And they're trying to get us to promote this to people. And he had a real issue with it. And he was getting a few $100s a week. That's it. Now imagine everybody's expectation when they would hear him, Yeah, I'm a stockbroker. Well, you're thinking, man, this is Michael Douglas, Charlie Sheen level, stuff, man. Where's your Porsche? Where's your Bentley at? Where's your yacht and your mansion? And he was literally making less than $350 a week. But he was willing to go through that if it was going to get him to the outcome and that professional status as a stockbroker with a high yielding pay. Ultimately, much like his own trading, he was not successful. That brokerage firm that he was working through actually was shut down. When I was a younger man, I went through the process of getting a commercial driver's license. And one of the things you had to do was, once you go through the process of getting the paperwork and the permits to do so, you join a trucking school. And this is the route I went through. There's two ways of going about it. One, you join with a company and they put you through the mill, or you go through the process of getting out on a range and you go through one skill set per day. And the first skill set that they teach you is straight line backing. That means you get into the tractor trailer, it's a combination vehicle, and they teach you how to stay between two lines, moving 5 miles an hour maximum. So you had to make sure that your tractor and trailer stayed within these two defined lines, back and forth, back and forth. You had to do 10 repetitions of that. Then you would slip seat with the next student and they would do the same thing. And there was groups of 4 or 5 of us. And we did that all day long. It's monotonous, right? But a driver's most problematic time is when he's backing up into a dock, a receiving dock. You don't see very well with it. You have issues with blind spots, and you have to learn how to navigate that. When you are looking for things in that mirror as a truck driver, that's much like the draw on liquidity. That premise of looking for, where should I be taking this tractor trailer? Where should I put the IBC bumper right to some specific location behind the vehicle? And I have to do it in a controlled manner. It has to be at a pace that's safe. It's like leverage. You don't speed, you don't push the accelerator, make the tractor move faster than you can safely handle it. And you do this skill set for the entire day. And the next day, they put you in a tractor trailer, a different one. Sometimes it was a Kenworth, sometimes it was a Peterbilt, sometimes it was a Mack. So it was giving you experience, it was changing and shifting gears, and not in just one tractor, but different ones. You would do alley docking. You would do 3-point turns, things of that nature. Serpentine turn, which actually don't even require truck drivers to do that anymore now. But imagine the monotonous task of doing just one thing over and over and over again, all day long. And you're thinking, back then, I was thinking, man, I could be a really high-paying truck driver. If I get my own truck, I could make 6 figures. And that was one of the things that got me interested in wanting to be a truck driver. And once I got the CDL, no company wanted to hire me except for the over-the-road drivers. So I had to submit myself to a company that I drove over the road with them, and they have a trainer. So what they do is they put you behind the wheel of the tractor trailer, and as much as you legally can drive with the hours of service that's allowed for a commercial driver, that's you doing all that driving. And the trainer's getting all the load pay. And guess what I was making? $250 a week. You know how much I was home? Sunday, 6 hours. But my goal was to be a professional commercial driver. Go through the process, get through it, become a company driver, get experience, learn the ins and outs of the industry. I'd make a couple $100 more a week, and maybe get to the point where I'd have enough experience to be able to go out and get my own tractor, and I can do my own business. Okay. So I was thinking over the top, Sylvester Stallone. That was the whole beginning of all that business. I wanted to, this is really cool. I want to do that, something like that. And the long and short of it is, everybody was trying to talk me out of it. No, you're never going to make money doing that. You can't do this. You can't do that. But my goal was, I had to go through that process. I had to go through the process that was required for me to get that skill set. I can still get behind a wheel of a tractor trailer, and one that has doubles and triples. I can do all that stuff. If I had to go back to a working class hero, I could do that. I have those skill sets. I don't carry a full CDL anymore, but I had one that dropped down to for my RB, but now I have a Class A that's no air brake, so I don't really need a CDL anymore. So I gave it up now, no common Class C license. But imagine all of these ideas. I mean, some of you probably listen to me and you think, man, this guy's like, he's never got his hands dirty. He's this. I've done all those types of things, and they're all the same type of process. You go through the beginning stages with next to nothing in terms of money, but the outcome, the destination that you're aiming for, once you complete it, what you go through to get to that level, that passion, that pursuit of it needs to be greater than the adversities that you're going to endure. And no outside interference. This is going to cause you to deviate from what's required to go through it. Of all the things I've ever done, trading is the hardest thing because you are competing with yourself. See, as a truck driver, it's traffic. You can't control that. You can't control that. You're in there, you do the job of getting that tractor trailer, the load, whatever it was that you had to do, get from point A to point B. You had to do your route yourself. They didn't give you directions. Okay, nowadays, they have navigation systems and such, and they tell you this is the best way, this is the optimal way to get to this location. Shortest miles, best gas miles, and they govern the vehicle so it can't go over 65 miles an hour. All these industry standards are being implemented for cost saving. You have to be willing to submit yourself to that. Everything that's worth doing has some kind of internship, and trading is no exception. It's an industry where you have no ceiling. You can make as much money as you want to make. But if you're not willing to go through the beginning stages where you aren't going to make anything, that means you're back testing. That means you're doing what you're doing right here, right now. You're listening for insight from people that have done it, that are doing it, what they're encountering, how they're overcoming it, how they're dealing with it on a personal level, how they keeping themselves encouraged. Listening to people that are pillars in the industry and are teaching other people how to do it. And the fruits of their work is being noticed. Not just me, there's other people out there that are doing it. And the long and short of it is, you got to be willing to put yourself through whatever's required. And you might not see the benefits of doing it at the time. And it needs to be encouraged along the way, which is why I talk to you in Twitter Spaces, which is the reason why I talk to you and encourage you with homework assignments. Do this, one little task, focus on this. Do this very thing here. Look at that one particular thing in the price action. Taught my mentorship. I could have did what I did. It's up there at one time. But if you would have saw all of that, and there's more videos than that, but if I would have thrown all that up there for anyone that was joining, you would have been intimidated by all that because it's too much. It's too much information, and it's very intimidating. So in an intern, like that in a way, they do a lot of work to focus on because they want to put you through this and not make any money doing it and get the experience being around people that are actually doing it themselves and making lots of money. The people that really are set in mind to do this, it's in their heart to do it, they're willing to go through that. That means on the weekends, you're sitting in front of your charts, making time, separating yourself from the weekend warrior, the pub life, the club life, the recreational sports, all those things. That stuff's still going to be there, folks. It's all still going to be there when you arrive at the level of professionalism that you are trying to get to as a trader. But you got to be going through a lot of stuff that's not going to lead to immediate gratification. It's not going to give you things that make you feel good because they're moves that's already happened. But you're collecting data, you're collecting experience and information that you're going to lean on when you put those real live trades on. But unless you have the ability to sit through all of that and go through the process of conditioning yourself, deferring immediate gratification, deferring the need to be profitable, they need to be significant amongst peers in our industry on social media to get your report card for approval that you are cut above the average. All those things are easy to get, but the skill set that has to be there. If you don't have that, you're going to have to work your ass off to get it. And you're going to do a whole lot of boring stuff. Boring stuff. It's boring to back test because you can't make money on it. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. But the best traders are the ones that fall in love with that process. The fact that you can go into a chart and see something that repeats over and over and over again. The level of continuity. The not surprised that did that. See, I do all those types of things, these quirky little things that may seem like arrogance, but it's emotional stimuli that I'm charging your memory on that very moment when price does exactly what we expected it to do. Because otherwise, this is like, well, big deal. There was no trade placed. That's exactly what backtesting is. You can't place a trade there. But you're conditioning your expectations on a repeating phenomenon. And a professional trader is doing that very thing. He or she's looking for that repeating phenomenon that they've conditioned themselves. They've activated the reticular activating system. That means they've trained their eye to look for specific things. Many times, if people had the opportunity to sit down and say, hey, Michael, could you tell me why you didn't look at this fair value gap and this fair value gap? Why'd you ignore this order block here? And why'd you look at this one? Why didn't you do that? Experience. You can't get that experience in a book. I can't transfer my experience to you through my videos. The only experience that is transferable and it's usable is when I'm pointing something out in advance. So that way you're walking it with me. Come hell or high water, by hook or by crook, you have to submit to that process. There's no other shortcut. I swear to you, there is not one person walking this planet that's going to be able to take their experience and place that into you. You have to work your ass off and get it yourself. And the way you get that experience, the way you get that confidence to know which one to look for, which one should you filter out, these things are arrived at by doing these monotonous tasks in the beginning that doesn't feel productive. It doesn't feel like you're going to ever get anywhere doing this because the natural mind says, I need to know what the price is going to do on the right side of that chart. Why am I wasting my time looking over here? Ask that of your surgeon. How many times did they have to look at textbooks, procedures that they have to follow? State and federal guidelines that says they have to do this and not do these other things for the procedure you're getting ready to have done to you. And do you want that surgeon to just be fresh out of school? Or do you want that surgeon to be well-groomed? They've been doing it a lot. Well, that's what you want to be running your company, right? See, a professional trader, you're running a trading company. You're the CEO of it. You have to have the wherewithal to be diligent and demanding of yourself. Your CEO mindset about your own trading company needs to be firm in its expectations that you have a well-written trading plan and a business plan. They're two separate things, folks. They're two separate things. Just learning how to trade is not enough. Just learning how to read price action, not enough. How are you going to conduct yourself as a business person, as a trader? Are you allowing the trader in you? Are you allowing that person inside of you to trade more times than 6 times a day? Are you willing to allow that trader that's in you to risk more than 5%, 3%, 2%, whatever it is? You have to be in control. There has to be KPIs. There needs to be standard operating procedures that you are following and you're holding yourself to. If you don't do those things, nobody else is going to submit themselves to do the job for you. No one's signing up to be your trading company intern, to do everything for you for free. And many of you expect people like me as an educator to go out here and do things beyond what we're willing to do, when what we're doing is already more than enough. The people that know how to do this, that are teaching, We're demanding you to do the necessary and required work. And some of you don't want to hear that. Some of you want to just say, well, there should be an easier way to do this. You've been doing it long enough. Make it simpler. Okay. Go through your old data. Go through your old charts. Start building a pseudo experience and collection of all these different case studies. And you repeatedly do this daily. Not when you got time to do it. I'll get to it on Thursday. I'll find something on Sunday or whatever, between the games. No, you're running a business. You're trying to start a new company, but you have to learn how to become a CEO. You have to learn how to be a business person, not just a trader. You have to be a good money manager. There's so many things that people walk into this industry thinking, this is going to be easy. All I got to do is press some buttons. Press some buttons and money just drops into my account. And man, I can go out there and live the fast life. This is so easy. I don't know why I waited so long to do this. When it's entirely way beyond what is expected in terms of what you're going to have to work your rear end for. And immediately, in the beginning, you're not getting that gratification. You're getting no support from anybody. No one's going to tell you, good job, you just did 2.5 hours of back testing. You put some annotations on some charts and journal your observations. Well done. Man, I'll tell you what, you keep doing this for a couple months, man, there's no telling how good you're going to get. But your educator, if they're worth their salt, they're going to tell you to do that. And they're going to tell you what you're doing is the right thing. It's not about what's about to happen in the chart. That's all stuff that's really easy. That stuff's easy when you understand who you are, what you're going to do to derail yourself. Because having all the right information, and the proof of it is I got it all out there on YouTube right now. But the folks that are not willing to go through the necessary requirements of going through old data, old price charts, old moves, and finding their model. Because I can't, and no other educator can press every single person into a mold that fits everybody's personality. It doesn't work that way. That's my personal belief. And if someone's successful in doing it, I would love to see it. I wouldn't have anything bad to say about it. I just know that I personally can't do it, and I've never seen anybody else be able to do it. Trading's too difficult of a task, and it needs to be personal. It needs to be unique, and it needs to be form-fitted for your personality. And back testing, what that does, it gives you a safe environment to go through. If there's anything that's valid about a model or a methodology, it should be readily available in terms of going back and look at data and say, okay, there it is. It's absolutely right there. It's undeniable. You can't argue with it. It's there. It can't be manipulated. It can't be masqueraded as something else. It's exactly what you expect it to be. And also observing when that model may not be profitable, where you may have made a mistake, and not look at it and sugarcoat it. So, well, yeah, I probably would have got out before the stop loss guy. No, use it as an encouragement, saying, okay, even if that was the case and I would have taken a loss there. Because what many of my students, and these are paid students, what they had done early on when I was telling them to do this, starting in 2016 when I did mentorship for the first time, the number one complaint was, I don't know if this is going to work for me because this is where I like to see it work, but it always fails in other places when I try to do it real time. Well, number one, you're trying to trade before you know what you're doing. Did you see how many times that your model you're trying to look for failed in backtesting? Well, it never failed in backtesting. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Even one of my best models fails as losing trades. It's not perfect. And if you compound that difficulty, because you have the uncertainty of not knowing when it's not going to work, which is why you have to have a stop loss, which is why you have to have impeccable risk management. You have to have these things. You want to be a professional trader, the number one tenet is preserve capital. That's the first and foremost rule. You have to be able to do that. If you can't do that, it doesn't matter how good a trader you are, because if you're super accurate, it doesn't matter. Super accurate is not perfect. And the imperfect, super accurate trader that over leverages will draw down. If you're trying to be a professional trader or a professional fund manager, people don't like to see a lot of volatility in their equity curve. They don't want to see that. Some of you folks out there that share your MyFX books and things of that nature, it's nauseating If you're going to view it from the lens of a professional fund manager, you would not stay in business with anyone with those types of equity curves. So what I teach is an excellence in mindset about how you have to be diligent about keeping risk very, very small, where it removes all the emotion, it removes all the necessity about being right. So what you're doing is you're taking the best environment in the beginning and placing yourself in that where it's safe. You can't lose money. You can't lose and you can't make money. And the only thing you're trying to do is teach your new fledgling mind as a trader to see that these things do in fact repeat. You can set your watch to it. At this time, this is what should happen. How many times did that thing happen that you're supposed to be studying in the last 20 days? How many times did it occur in the last 40 days? How many times did it happen in the last 60 days? And if you don't have the access to that type of, well, for instance, some of the smaller time frames, you can't access that far back. But what's preventing you from doing the next 60 days? Because every day, at the end of the day, you have a new day to do a back test on. Go as far as you can looking back, but at least have 60 days worth of it. I'm not saying that that's all you should have, but 60 days, you have the minimum criteria for finding something that I teach. You silver bullet, look at it. It's there. Whether you're trading the London session, the morning session, or the afternoon session, there's a silver bullet every single session. Every single session, it's there. And I read these people that say, oh, well, it failed here. You don't know how to trade it. That's all. You don't know. They're looking at things through a very short-term exposure to it. They think they watched the videos, so therefore they know it. They've done no back testing. They've not collected enough sample sets to prove that what they're looking for exists. Number two, that it fits their personality. Give you a perfect example. I put 12 models out, okay? 12 of these things in my paid mentorship. All of them make money. All of them. But they're highly demanding in terms of what needs to be there before that trade can be taken. It's not an everyday trading model. It's an every week trading model. Every one of those trading models speaks and operates on a week by week basis, at least one trade setup. Well, that's not what I want to do. I've seen you trade multiple times in the same day. Yeah, well, that's me doing multiple models. You can't start with that in the beginning. I didn't start like that in the beginning. But you need to have one thing that you start with. And it might not be your end model. It might not be the career model that you stick with for the majority of your life as a trader. So what's the benefit of doing it, Michael? If I'm not going to pick the right one in the beginning because I want to pick the right one, I don't want to waste my time doing something that isn't really meant for me to do. Well, what you're saying is you don't want to make it an investment in yourself. And right there, that already reduces your probabilities to less than half in terms of success. Because if you don't have the mindset that you're willing to do it, number one, do what? Back test. Go through old data. See if these things occur. And which one do you gravitate to? In the beginning, it might not be the silver bullet. It might be something else. It might be the simple optimal trading niche. It might be the model 2022. It might be something else, simple breaker strategy. But until you apply yourself to one thing, looking for it, going through old data, seeing it, you will never have the opportunity to see what your personal character flaws are, where you, the new CEO, you have to expose yourself to uncertainty in the safest format. And that means in backtesting, where the moves have already happened, you're conditioning yourself to look for these repeating phenomena. That way, you can't even paper trade it. You can't do a demo trade. I mean, I guess you can if you want to do like Forex backtest or something to that effect, or trading views, market replay. But I don't even think in the beginning you should be touching that. You feel like that's what you should be doing because it looks like a video game. Wow, this is what it looks like when I'm in there. No, it doesn't look like that at all. It's faster. It's scarier when you don't know what you're looking for. You've never been there before. It feels like the first time you got on a roller coaster. It's like, man, what's it going to be like? What's it going to feel like? And you're worried about all your potential reactions to what you're going to experience versus this is what I'm supposed to be looking for and this is all I'm supposed to be focusing on. You can't train your perception to filter out all the other things. And that's what you don't understand. When I tell you, if I'm asked by any of you, through either Trading Views direct message or tweets or responses in my comment sections of my videos, how did you pick that one? How did you pick that one right there? How did you know it was going to do that? It's because I went through a long period of conditioning myself, looking for very specific things. And I know that answer doesn't satisfy many of you that are brand new. It feels like I'm hiding something from you, but I swear to you, it's because I've exposed myself to repetition, like exercise and building muscle with weight training. You have to do it over and over and over again. You can't just go into a gym, join a membership, and start lifting the heaviest weights you can do and do as many repetitions as you can and walk out and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not even in a week, not even 90 days, not 120 days either. Can't even find yourself looking like that in a year. It takes time, but you have set forth in motion the expectation that you're going to go through that process to get you to that level of professionalism, whether it be a bodybuilder, a weight trainer, a surgeon, a pilot. You chose to do this. And I'm going to humbly submit that you have chosen the path that has the highest degree of difficulty that there is. You're competing against the shrewdest of minds in a corrupt industry that's absolutely 100% manipulated, controlled to the smallest degree. And you want to cheat yourself the opportunity. You want to prevent yourself the real opportunity to find your own niche in this by cutting out the most important stage of your development. The part that feels boring, the part that feels like monotonous tasks. I ain't got time to do journaling. I don't have any time to go look at old data. I need to trade. How's that working out for you? Because it's probably going to become evident that you're going to be a professional employee for the rest of your life. Unless you make drastic changes in your expectations and what you're willing to put yourself through, it's laid out there for you.